So Chicago, I hope you're ready for me. Oh my gosh, I forgot the rest of the words. Let me do it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, my horrible attempt at trying to do Digital Underground's the Humpty Dance. All right, so my name is Burton Kelso. I'm known as the technology expert. And I'm from the Kansas City area, which you're like, what's a tech guy doing at a digital conference? Well, as the owner and marketer of my company for the past 10 years, I've done an excellent job as far as creating content on social media. So we're here to talk about the whole controversial thing about cross-posting on social media to reach a wider audience. Now I'm a rebel when it comes to sauce because I double dip, hate to say it, Chick-fil-A sauce. My Chick-fil-A fans who loves the sauce, I'll mix it with everything. So I've always been like, you've got to try new things. You've got to try new flavors. And the same thing applies to social media. And I have a confession to make, guys. I'm kind of embarrassed, but I'm a felon. A Facebook felon. I got you guys for a second, right? You're like, oh, what's this guy doing on stage? Yes, I just recently got out of Facebook jail. It's a 6-day sentence, and I'm on parole, and I cannot live stream on Facebook for the next 21 days. I can't post ads, so it's some serious stuff going down with me and Facebook. And we have to think about, you want balance, but unfortunately, social media right now is in chaos. 5 years ago, there was perfect balance. You could pick your platform, and then you could post and not worry about the other socials. But we all see what's going on with Twitter and Elon. Is it going to be around next year? Same thing with TikTok. Even though it's a government ban in certain states, they're pushing legislation as far as making sure that TikTok may be banned on government devices entirely. But then it may not stop there. So if you're a TikTok user or marketer, you should be worried. Because what happens if the government decides that poor TikTok is being controlled by China and they remove the app from the App Store? And I know TikTok is like the popular social media platform because it's quickly approaching 1 billion users. And everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. And they're leaving other platforms like Instagram and Facebook because of all the chaos. Even right now with Facebook, the algorithm is just all over the place. I mean, I see stuff that I don't want to see. I'm getting a ton of suggested posts on my Facebook feed and Instagram feed. Show of hands or hell yeah if you're having the same issue with Facebook. No one wanted to say hell yeah? All right, there we go. That's what's up. And it's just chaos. So good thing for me with social media that I've diversified my Facebook feeds. And there's 2 things I want you to think about before we delve into like cross-posting. Number 1, I live stream I'm not advertising, every Wednesday at 1 o'clock on all of the platforms with a cross-posting app called Restream.io. Restream users, show of hands. No one? Well, I can't see half of you anyway, but good thing with Restream, I can stream to other platforms like YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and I'm trying to think there's one more. Not Insta, but Insta's coming up. But anyway, the point of the story that I'm trying to make is if I had to just focus on going live with Facebook, I wouldn't have a live streaming audience because I can't live stream for the next 21 days. And that's an eternity in social media. Heck, I felt like a crack addict when I couldn't post on social media. It was like The Rock was there, and I'm like, man, I couldn't do it. I could just lurk. So the other thing we have to worry about as far as cross-posting is time. How long does it take to make a post for social media? It takes, especially if you're doing Reels or TikTok videos, it can take an eternity, at least a good 3 or 4 minutes to do that. And then having to recreate that post on every platform, it's a big time suck. So what do you do? So as I talked about, there is change coming. And in today's environment, you just don't know if the platform that you're favoring is going to be around. One other thing, as far as cross-posting is concerned, cyber criminals are actively after social media accounts and social media brands. So we all know, hopefully not from experience, if your Facebook account gets hacked, you're screwed. There's no way to get that account back. And if you put all your marbles in the Facebook bag, you're gonna lose your whole social media brand because you're only stuck with Facebook. So I like having fun during these presentations. So we're gonna play a game called Myth or Fact in this presentation. So here we go. Myth or fact, and just shout out the answer. Myth or fact. LinkedIn is coming up on 20 years of being active. Is that a myth or is that a fact? Shout it out. Oh gosh, you guys know your stuff. I was hoping for the person to say myth. Like, you're a newbie. You're wrong. All right, so let's talk about the pros and cons of posting on all of the social media platforms. So pro number one is all right. So number one, you don't have one of the pros is if you don't have the resources to create a lot of content, let's say you're a digital marketer and you don't have a team, it makes perfect sense for you to cross-post on social media because you just don't have the time to do it. Number two, if you are the only person like me handling social media for your business, it only makes sense that you cross-post content because you're being seen everywhere. Now, I was talking to a few people in the audience while I was looking around, and one of the benefits in my belief, and you can shoot me later if I say this, when you create content for one channel, you definitely want to share that same content against all of your social media channels. And why is that, Burton? That sounds stupid. Well, the reason being is that most people that are on social media now are lurkers. And LinkedIn is like one of the larger lurker networks out there. Where I saw funny, but LinkedIn users, show of hands, please. So you've seen the post on LinkedIn. When you go on LinkedIn, you can see that there's usually zero engagement. Maybe one or two people liked your post, and I've got 18,000 followers on LinkedIn. So you would think that I would have, at least 50 likes. But then if you look at the algorithm from LinkedIn, you can see that a ton of people have seen it. So it's not that you want your content to be good, but at the same time, most of the people that are looking at your social media accounts, unless it's really, really engaging, they're gonna click on it. But for the most part, they're like zombies, just scrolling through the content. So don't overthink, what kind of content that you're gonna post it and if it's gonna be seen on every platform. Because chances are, especially if you have a lot of followers, that if you posted the same content on Facebook, people aren't gonna see if you put the same post on LinkedIn. So if you need a better presence on social media, let's just say you're horrible at it, and you want to get into social media. Getting to develop a good following is a good idea or a good reason for you to cross-post your content on social media. And let's talk about budget. Everyone has to deal with a marketing budget, correct? Let's say you don't want to boost, you want to save money, so it makes perfect sense if you have a limited marketing budget to cross-post on social media. It really does. And then, let's just say you're new to the social media game, and you've got to develop connections and content. That's why it would be a good reason for you to cross-post on social media. And a wider audience. You want to reach more people. So it makes perfect sense to post and cross-post and get your information out there. Obviously, this was me 6 days ago, right? And you have to really think about that, which is why I'm bringing it up again. Is that what happens if you lose that channel? You're done. How hard is it for you if you've been on, let's just say Twitter, and Twitter goes away for 6 years, and then all of a sudden you have no more followers? Same thing with Facebook. If that platform shut down, you can't get a hold of anybody to reinstate that platform. So you really have to think about the whole Facebook jail thing. Or if my account was hacked, then what are you gonna do? So you've gotta be everywhere, I hate to say. Because, like the old movie Highlander, there can be only one. Now let's talk about the cons of cross-posting. More work, isn't it? Not necessarily. It's more work if you're trying to create different content for different channels, which again, I am not a fan of trying to make a TikTok or a TikTok video, and then I want to kind of share the same content. So I'm going to go on Instagram and make a reel. But then I need to take that video and put it in a way where Facebook is going to recognize it. But yeah, it's going to be more work if you cross-post. And then here's the biggest fear. People are going to get bored with you because they're seeing the same content on different channels. You know how that goes. And the other thing, same content may not work on different social media channels. So anyway, how do we get started? You know? I don't know why I was looking at that. There we go. There's the start that I wanted. All right, how do you get started? So one of the things you need to really rethink the way that you thought social media worked. You definitely have to focus on not necessarily being an influencer, but the whole rethinking social media is about, think about your tribe and the kind of content that they're actually wanting to get. And we all know that social media is about relationships. So if you are in the grind of, man, we've got to get those numbers up and get people liking our content, don't think about that, because again, we're dealing with a bunch of lurkers. So the algorithms on social media, and how do they work? So obviously on Instagram, you can share up to 30 hashtags on Instagram. But if you do that same strategy on Facebook, it's definitely going to bring your posts down. Twitter, how many characters can you do on Twitter? 230, correct? You can't take a long form post that you would normally do on LinkedIn and then try to share that content on Twitter. So my suggestion, as far as beating the algorithm on social media and getting to your core audience, is kind of think of when you post on social media, start with a Twitter post, meaning that your content is going to be short and sweet, and then post the same picture, same video, and then take it over to say LinkedIn or Facebook, where you can do a ton of characters, and then make it work for you. Other things that you have to worry about with the algorithms is to boost or not to boost, because it can consume your marketing budget if you're trying to push out content by paying per post. Show of hands, how many of you actually pay for boosting on any of the social media platforms? I see like a few hands. I hate it. I just refuse to deal with billion-dollar companies and share or actually add to that budget by buying or boosting posts. Shout it out. Does boosting work for you? The ones that say, yes, we pay for content to be shared on the social media platforms?
Yes. Yes.
Maybe I need to start boosting. It don't work for me. I boost it. Maybe it's my content, but I just refuse, and then I'm just a cheapskate, so I won't do it anyway. But you definitely have to rethink your platform to find out if boosting works for you on each platform. Maybe you both boost on Meta with Instagram and Facebook. Maybe you don't boost on LinkedIn. So, I mean, those are the things that you definitely have to take in consideration when you're considering cross-posting on different platforms. Because if you're boosting on every platform, it definitely can put you in a poorhouse as far as your marketing budget is concerned. So, I don't know. Maybe I ought to boost. All right, so myth or fact. I hope everyone gets this one. So is Nextdoor considered a social media platform? Is that a myth or a fact?
I would say it is.
Oh my gosh, I'm hearing opposing stuff. Anyone else? Myth or fact? It's a fact. Anyone using Nextdoor to market their business out of curiosity? Everyone's like, heck no, man, I'm not touching that. I think it's awesome. It works for us. So as far as schedules are concerned for social media, you definitely need to find a schedule that's going to work as far as cross-posting. Again, my suggestion would be to, when you cross-post on the different platforms, to all share it at the same time. And Burton's rule of thumb is the best time to share on social media platforms is right after lunch. Because your workforce, and you're probably yourselves, you're going to put it in from 9 to noon. But then after lunch, and you have that big old heavy lunch, you're not going to be so inclined to work anymore. You're kind of sleepy, you're bored, and then you just decide you're going to hop on social media. So Burton's rule of thumb, If you're gonna cross-post content, obviously you're gonna do it at the same times, but post after lunch. And that seems to be the way that I get the most engagement as far as putting stuff on all of the different social media platforms. After lunch is a good time, and I'm thinking between the hours of 1 to 3, because people are like messing around and doing nothing. But the other thing too is the whole, when am I gonna post on the weekends, right? Because most businesses are trying to market on the weekends. So my suggestion for the weekends would be between 10 and noon. It's when we get the most engagement, and that's when people are normally active on their phones trying to find stuff to do on a Saturday afternoon. So that would be my recommendation as far as the best times that's gonna work for a schedule. And we know that timing is everything when you're posting on social media. So make sure that you pay attention to what the algorithm is telling you as far as your engagement numbers. And if Burton's rule of after lunch doesn't work, then you definitely need to do your research, because what works for one company isn't always gonna work for every company. So pay attention to those numbers. So let's talk about tools that allow you to post on social media, and there are a ton. So shout it out, which tool do you use to post simultaneously across different platforms? Because there's a ton. No one said Hootsuite? All right. So also, the whole social media genre is made for restreaming tools. If you restream video, which no one said, there's StreamYard, where you can time your videos, and there's also Restream.io. And I'm sure there's a few more out there. But as you can see from this graphic, you can share posts from Canva. You can share posts from MailChimp and from Constant Contact. But if you take anything away from this presentation, I want you to know this, that on social media, your posts are gonna work better if you do them organically. All the tools that we just talked about have a negative effect on the algorithm. And I'm sure many of you have seen them, or maybe you're just scheduling your post and you're just like, hey, whatever happens, right? Now, if you have a large amount of followers, then you may be able to combat that. But if you have a small quaint following, you will notice that hardly anyone is gonna comment on those posts, because the algorithms on all of the social media platforms, except maybe LinkedIn, degrade those posts, because as we all know, as digital marketers, social media does not like you going to other sites, and they don't want content coming in from other sites. So the thing that I do, as far as cross-posting is concerned, is maybe I'll schedule it to go out on Hootsuite or Creator Studio or whatever Meta is calling their social media Instagram deal. And when it's about to post, then I will stop it from posting, and then I will share it organically, and it definitely has a wider reach. So I hate to break the bad news to you about all the tools that you're using to cross-post along all of the social media channels, but it definitely has a negative effect on your reach when you're using those tools. I stopped using Hootsuite years ago, but the challenge is, if you're monitoring multiple social media accounts with a tool with Hootsuite, or Sprout Social, or any of the tools, Buffer, it can take away from work. So what I want to say is that if you're posting through those tools and you need to save time, don't stop using them. Use them to a point, but every now and then you've got to throw the organic post out there to help keep your numbers up on social media. It's kind of like, I'm kind of damned if I do, damned if I don't type of mentality as far as posting online, because our whole arena as far as social media wants you to cross-post on different platforms. But it's like you're being penalized, because when you post, especially using one of those tools, it's not going to get shared across or it's not going to get shared to a wider reach. So if you can avoid it, but if there's no way around it, just understand that you're not going to get the engagement. Now, the only one that's probably going to help you as far as engagement as a social media platform is LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn have a bunch of benevolent folks that work there. Because I'm sure you've noticed, if you post something on LinkedIn, then maybe a few weeks later, people are commenting on it, and it's like, are they stalking me all of a sudden? Well, the good folks at LinkedIn are resharing your post, and it's gonna get more engagement. So, I'm kind of curious, what are your thoughts about using some of the tools that are, that you can use to cross-post on social media? Do you like them? Do you hate it? Just shout out your answer, I'm kind of curious. Don't go quiet on me.
It depends on the content.
Okay?
I'd agree with that.
So if I'm trying to post like something for every platform that's exactly the same in first thing in the morning, then I'll use that platform to post it across all of them. But in the afternoon, say I go to each one individually and I just post them organically. My post from the morning will pop up to those people that I post in the afternoon, my organic post, that they didn't see first thing in the morning. So it kind of helps, but it just depends on what you're posting.
And what time, do you schedule your posts to go out all at the same time? Or do you like stair step it where like maybe if you go to Twitter, I'm assuming you probably don't.
So the platform that I use to post on all of them is Soci. And what you can do is you can add on each one like plus 5 or 10 minutes. Or you can schedule it at a certain time. So for me, I always say to pick the prime time that it's being used on each platform, plus or 5 minutes. So it's not exactly going right at 8 a.m. Maybe it's going at 8:03. It just depends.
All right, anyone else care to comment on their favorite tool and how they use it? I love this, it's like, I'm not telling you, I'll tell you later. So number 5 is don't let social media consume you. Again, get creative as far as the way you're scheduling your post. I shared my tip about I won't let it go out through the social media tools. I'll actually set a timer to remind myself to do it. And another way that I use it is with social media, with Creator Studio, with Facebook or through Meta, I'll actually let it go out on one of my pages. And then once I get the alert that says, hey, you just shared a post, then that reminds me to go on all of the other channels, copy and paste that post, and then share it across. And it definitely has good engagement because it's more organic than the actual post. Now, a question was asked about the different types of content that you should do it on all the channels. Now, for me and for the sake of time, whatever I'm sharing on Facebook, I'm gonna share it across all of the platforms. But one of the other things that you have to be careful with, let's say that you're using TikTok and that's like your go-to social media platform. You definitely want to stay away from downloading your TikTok videos to your smart devices and then uploading them to other social media channels. Because if it's coming from another source, then obviously that's going to be seen as an intruder, and then your post reach is going to be lowered by the social media platforms. But we talked about all of these tools. I got ahead of myself, didn't we? So there's my Creator Studio post. We're up to a myth or fact. So myth or fact, cornbread stuffing is better than white bread stuffing. Is that a myth or is that a fact? Everyone's saying it's a fact? Oh my God, I can't believe that. So, quick story. My mother-in-law hates cornbread stuffing. She makes the worst soggy stuffing. It's horrible. Guys, it is just horrible, you know? I hate it. So the answer is whatever you want. But I think it's a fact. Cornbread stuffing is definitely better than white bread stuffing. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about as far as your social media accounts are concerned and what you need to do to prevent this from happening. I hope I don't have to remind everyone about this. But when it comes to your social media accounts and your websites, you better make sure that you're using secure passwords to protect all of those accounts. Show of hands. How many of you in the last 48 hours has had someone come up and say, oh my gosh, my account was hacked, or my account was duplicated? How many have seen that in the last 48 hours? I know someone out there, no one wants to admit it. But it's a known fact that social media accounts are being hacked, and it's because you guys are using weak passwords. My suggestion, stop using passwords for all of your social media accounts and start using passphrases to protect those accounts. Passphrases are two unrelated words that make up a password. So for example, the phrase stinky chicken would definitely make a great password or passphrase. If you wouldn't want to use purple dinosaur as a passphrase because who's the purplest dinosaur out there? Shout it out. Arnie. But then no one ever says the one from the Flintstones, the purple dinosaur, and his name is? Dino. There you go. So you want to avoid that. Religious phrases like 23rd Psalm, John 3:16, you definitely don't want to use as passphrases because they're easily figured out. So make sure, as far as your social media accounts are concerned, that you protect your passwords, or else you'll have your social media account hacked. One other thing that I want to talk about as far as cross-posting on social media, if you don't have a personal or business account on social media, you definitely need to claim it as soon as you walk out this door. Why? Cyber criminals are always looking for brand accounts to duplicate because they want to use brands that people trust. So if you are active on, I keep throwing Facebook up here, I hate Facebook, I hate social media, but isn't that, and I'm giving a shout out to all of you because I know you hate it too, but if you want to stay in business, you've got to be on social media. So what criminals will do is they will actually duplicate your social media accounts, and then when people visit them, they'll gather information. So if you have a business account on LinkedIn or Facebook, claim it on Twitter, claim it on TikTok, claim it on Insta, for the simple fact that you don't want to add more work to yourself. You want to claim those accounts so criminals can't set up a fake brand of your business online and then use it to lure people into, lure people in to trick them and send them spam and all other sorts of stuff. And in today's society, with the volatile social media market that we're dealing with, anything goes as far as cyber criminals are concerned. So make sure that you're protecting your accounts. So to wrap things up, as far as cross-posting, I will give you these 3 tips. Number 1, should you do it? Heck, yes, you should do it. Not only because you have different audiences on each platform, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you are keeping your brand out there. And if one of your social media accounts is sabotaged, and you end up being a Facebook felon like me, then you can always post content, post videos on other platforms. I would even recommend and go as far as to say that if you are doing reels and doing videos on TikTok, that you might even want to consider doing videos on YouTube Shorts. And maybe Shorts is going to be around, maybe it won't be around, but you definitely want to diversify your social media content because you never know when one platform is going to wrap up. Number 2, make sure that when you're cross-posting on social media, always make sure that it's organic, if you can. Again, it's better to post through posting tools because you want some content to be seen by some people rather than not to post at all. But for the majority of it, you definitely want to make sure that you keep your content organic. And number 3, yes, if you've got the time, you want to try to tailor your social media posts to each platform. I would say if you can, just use the same crap all across platforms, but beware of wording, obviously, and of course beware of hashtags. Because LinkedIn, I think you can have a max of 5 hashtags. Obviously Instagram's 30. Facebook is 5 hashtags. So up your hashtag game and make sure that you're doing the hashtag game right on each platform rather than just going overboard and physically copying content from not photos or videos, but the wording of each post on each social media platform. So we're at 50 seconds, and that's me. So I love technology. I read all the manuals, and I'm serious about making technology fun, exciting, and easy to use for everyone. So I appreciate you sitting in on my presentation, and I hope I was able to deliver to good. So again, I'm Burton Kelsel, and thank you for coming out. Thank you.
Thank you. Very helpful.
No problem.
We were really. We walked in.